absolutely integral part and polarity of life and of existence. Yet for some reason we have, as humans, have this inherent need to fill it with whatever we possibly can and to really avoid it at all costs. Whether that is in our external world through filling it up with useless junk or accumulating physical goods to simulate security, or in our internal world with occupying our mind with idle, useless, dull conversation, or useless stuff coming from the TV, or even just garbage food in our body to fill empty space that really serves no purpose or nutritional value. Yet this concept of emptiness is a deep and inherent principle which relates to the internal world and the external world. And if we think about it and we look at these examples, which I'm going to go over, we're going to see that emptiness really creates an openness for usefulness, whether that's in the mind or in our environment. And if we look at a wheel, a cup, a window, and a room, they're all useful because they're empty. And there's a quote from the Tao Te Ching that says, "A wheel seems to be made of a hub, spokes, and a rim. And few people pay attention to the hole in the center, since it's just empty, since it's just nothingness. But it's the hole in the center that makes the whole wheel work." So another example of this would be a room that's so full of objects and decorations that it really becomes almost useless. It becomes useless in a few different ways. It has no room for any other new objects, no room to really move around, and honestly no room to even bring new things into the room. Meaning the room is at this point to where it's fixed and it's stagnant, and there's really nowhere else it can go because its potentiality and its possibilities have been completely exhausted. Thus, it's really useless at that point. Because as we've understood throughout myriad of videos which I've talked about, and really just looking at life in general and natural principles, we can understand that where there's movement and free flow, there's health. Where there's stagnation, blockage, and fixation, there's health. So this is important because obviously our external worlds are reflections of our internal worlds. And this isn't new agey or weird in any way, shape, or form. It's a simple matter of stating the obvious. Because generally a physical object or manifestation almost always starts as an idea, some sort of insight or inspiration. Thus what was once internal is now external. Thus what is now external was once internal. So if our external world is cluttered, full to capacity, lacking openness and fluidity, what is this really saying, indicating, and revealing about the internal world? If a room is so full of objects which are just taking up space but have no real inherent use or function, what does that say about the internal world? And this is a principle which comes a lot out of more ancient Chinese thought. So it could be Zen, it could be Buddhism, it could be Taoism. You look at the art, to the Western mind, it's like, there's nothing there, it's just empty. What's the point? But that's really the point, is that there's emptiness, there's openness, there's space, there's fluidity, there's potential. And that's just one sort of theme or artistic sort of archetype, which is ubiquitous and found throughout the poetry, the artwork, and the philosophy. And it's pointing at exactly what we're talking about in this video. So on the same token, our external world can influence our internal world. Because we all get different feelings from different environments. The colors, the sounds, the lighting, and the organization of objects all affect our consciousness either positively or negatively. For example, when we're out in nature, walking in the woods, we feel more relaxed, more peaceful, and more in our bodies, more in touch with our feelings. Yet when we're, say, in a shopping mall or some sort of environment where we're wanting to take some sort of action, we feel more impulsive, more stressed, more disassociated because of the way that environment is set up. And basically, to illustrate, to clusterize it, just look at, say, like a really low quality chain restaurant or fast food restaurant versus a really consciously designed, high quality, upscale restaurant. You notice the environment's totally different. The color scheme is different, the lighting is different, the arrangement of the decor is different, the music is different, the attire is different. All of these things are different because they understand all of these elements influence the internal world. And again, it just is another way of explaining and illustrating this principle that we're talking about throughout this video so far. So again, to get back to the point and to wrap it all up, really emptiness, openness, fluidity, and potential is what makes something useful. When we get so full of junk, so full of stuff, basically what we have is not really that useful anymore. Whether that's a room, whether that's our car, whether that's our relationships, whether that's our mind, most importantly. And remember, if we take a look at our external world and it's full of junk, full of things which lack any real function, use, or application, we should ask, what is that saying about the internal world? And what's going on with there? And how can we start to move things out and get rid of things? And again, if you're looking at the environment around me, you're thinking, that looks like it's full of a lot of junk and full of a lot of stuff. You're correct. But the good news is, this isn't my place, just where I'm staying right now, temporarily, for the week, while I'm traveling. So, hopefully that's been helpful. Hopefully the concepts came through crystal clear, and you're walking away with something, or sitting away, I guess, if you're at your computer, whatever. Sitting away with something which is going to be useful, and we can go forward and take action on things and create more openness, fluidity, and potential and possibility in our lives. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.